John from South Carolina. Could I talk about what would happen to SBC churches and entities if the tax exemption status is removed for religious organizations? Yeah, I'll talk about that, John. I guess in one sense, we don't know everything that might happen, but amongst the things that would happen is that if we lose the tax exemption, we'd have to pay tax. And there are at least two different dimensions of that. And one would be the fact that we would probably have to pay property taxes in certain jurisdictions. And that could be a very major issue for a lot of churches. Property taxes can be very, very high. And especially when you consider the fact that many of our churches are in historic places where, they were established. You have a church here, the community grew up around it. Baptists sacrificed to buy the property, to build the building. But property values in any given area could all of a sudden drive up those property taxes in a way that make it very difficult for the church even to be able to thrive in its ministry. The other thing that would happen is that all contributions to an entity that's lost its tax-exempt status would no longer be deductible in any sense from the donor's tax bill. So, part of being tax-exempt is not only that the institution does not pay taxes in that sense, but that those who contribute to the institution or the organization are able, given their tax status and their own individual filings, to claim a tax deduction. So the tax deduction is an idea from our government that it wants to incentivize, this is the historic argument, the tax-exempt status, 501c3s it's often called. The argument there is that these are organizations that are doing good things that the government would otherwise have to do. And out of respect for those good things and wanting to encourage those good things, it would cost the government even more to do. And I would add the government could not do nearly so well. You think of hospitals, children's homes, foster care agencies, schools, colleges, universities. The argument has been it's a cultural good to incentivize people to give. And when it comes to churches, however, and Christian institutions, there's another level of argument, which is that it would be wrong to tax an organization that the government has no right to tax. And, those who founded this republic, long before there was even a constitutional income tax, from the beginning, they understood that churches are pre-political and should not come under the taxing authority of the state. I often cite the first Supreme Court Supreme Justice, that is John Marshall, who said the power to tax is the power to destroy. And government should not have that power over the church, should not have any coercive power over the church. And that's been a well-understood and well-honored principle throughout American constitutional and legal history. It should be frightening to all of us and a sign of the times that Beto O'Rourke, in that last town hall, just boldly said yes when he was asked if churches that would discriminate, that'd be the word that we use, let's say not recognize same-sex marriage, that they should lose their tax-exempt status. And you'll notice that even though a couple of his fellow candidates have said, well, not churches, but certainly schools, they really won't back up at all from that statement. Beto O'Rourke was just effectively saying out loud what the rest of them would do, but not do so honestly. So it is a big deal, and it's a matter of principle first, and not just the pragmatic effect of a loss of finance to churches and Christian institutions. It's quite frankly putting the church and Christian schools, again, even under, in a tighter way, the thumb of the government through the power to tax. As the Chief Justice said, our very first, John Marshall, the power to tax is the power to destroy. And just keep that in mind. One other thing that I want to point out is that tax-exempt status and that respect for the church has been something that has helped to shape our society such as it is. Those who would press for removing that tax exemption may not even primarily be thinking about the money and the taxes. The bigger issue here could very well be the public signal that these institutions and organizations should be marginalized by right-minded people. That's perhaps even a bigger threat. The argument would be no right-minded person should have anything to do with this church, anything to do with this Christian school. You shouldn't go to it, shouldn't send your kids to it, shouldn't attend it, shouldn't give to it. Don't underestimate what a massive cultural signal that would be, and don't underestimate how intentionally it would be sent.